Welcome to Between Sleep and Science. Tonight, we are not merely observing animals. We are embarking on a truly expansive, multi-millennial journey into the extraordinary world of dogs. These are the loyal companions who have walked in perfect step with humanity through the rise and fall of empires, across frozen tundras, and into the heart of the modern home. From the smallest, most delicate lapdog to the most formidable and powerful working breed, dogs have done more than just share our living spaces. They have fundamentally reshaped the trajectory of human history, influenced our biological evolution, and deepened our understanding of the natural world. They are the silent witnesses to our lives. They are the ones who offer comfort when the shadows of the world fall heavy, who stand as vigilant protectors when we are vulnerable, and who fill our days with a pure, unconditional love that transcends the need for spoken language. Tonight, we will dive deep into the gentle, rhythmic beating of their hearts. We will explore the complex biological threads that weave our species together in a unique symbiotic dance. We will uncover the invisible, sensory ways they make our world more vibrant and safe. Imagine a world before cities, before agriculture, before even the wheel. In that silence, a bond was born. I invite you to settle in completely. Find a position where you can fully let go. Allow the warmth of these stories and the weight of these facts to carry you softly toward a restful, restorative, and deep sleep. Let us begin our long exploration of the ancient bond, tracing the footsteps of the wolf as it became the dog. The story of the dog is, in many fundamental ways, the story of humanity's first and greatest alliance. To understand the dog, we must look back to a time long before the written word, before the construction of the pyramids, and long before we harnessed the power of horses or gathered cattle into managed herds, before we kept chickens for their eggs or moved sheep across pastures. We had dogs. Our shared history is etched into the very soil of our ancestral camps. Between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago, the world was a vastly different place, still gripped by the icy fingers of the late Pleistocene. This was the era of the megafauna, a time when mammoths, woolly rhinos, giant ground sloths, and cave lions roamed the earth. The landscape was a vast tundra steppe, a cold but productive grassland that supported enormous herds of herbivores. In this high-stakes landscape of survival, a miraculous transformation began. Wolves, wild apex predators, began to linger near human settlements. Think of the Paleolithic night. The darkness was absolute, save for the stars and the hearth. Beyond the light sat the eyes of the predators. But some eyes were different. Scientists proposed the commensal pathway theory, the idea that wolves chose us as much as we chose them. This was a biological contract signed in the snow. Wolves with lower flight distances, those less prone to panic in the presence of humans, began to scavenge on the periphery of our camps. They found that human refuse was a reliable, albeit strange, source of energy. In turn, humans found that these scavenging wolves served as a natural perimeter alarm. The transition from a scavenger to a partner was facilitated by the shared social structure of both species. Wolves and humans are both pack hunters. We both understand hierarchy, cooperation, and the necessity of the group. During the Aurignacian and Gravettian periods, this overlap became intimate. Archaeological evidence at the Chauvet cave in France shows the footprints of a young boy walking alongside a large canid, possibly an early wolf dog, dating back 26,000 years. The tracks indicate they were walking together, not in a chase, but in a shared journey through the dark. As these wolves moved closer, they began to provide services that were essential for the survival of early Homo sapiens. They were the first early warning system, barking at the approach of a saber-toothed cat or a rival tribe. In the harsh environment of the Ice Age, where the calorie was the currency of life, wolves helped humans track wounded game, significantly increasing the efficiency of the hunt. This cooperation allowed human tribes to grow larger and more stable. This was a cognitive revolution. For the first time, two different species began to synchronize their intentions and goals. Slowly, imperceptibly, they evolved into something entirely new. They existed in an evolutionary twilight, no longer truly wolf, but not yet the diverse dogs we recognize today. The Bonn Oberkassel site in Germany provides one of the most poignant glimpses into this past. A grave dating back 14,000 years contains the remains of a man, a woman, and a dog. Analysis of the dog's remains showed that it had been ill with canine distemper and had been cared for by humans for several weeks before its death. They fed it, kept it warm, and protected it when it could not protect itself. This is the earliest evidence of humans providing medical care to another species, proving that by the end of the Ice Age, the dog was no longer just a tool. It was a cherished family member, worthy of grief and ritual burial. The journey from a fierce, independent wild predator to a beloved household companion was a masterpiece of gradual natural evolution. Early humans did not possess a blueprint for selective breeding. Instead, the forces of natural selection and a process called self-domestication did the heavy lifting. This process is now being decoded through the study of ancient DNA, revealing a story hidden for millennia in the double helix. To understand how this happened, we must look at a landmark study conducted by Dmitry Belyaev in Siberia, known as the Silver Fox Experiment. Belyaev sought to recreate the domestication of dogs using silver foxes. By selecting only the tamest foxes for breeding, those that showed the least fear and most curiosity toward humans, he observed a staggering transformation in just a few decades. The foxes didn't just become friendly, their physical appearances changed. They developed floppy ears, curly tails, and multicolored coats. Their skulls became wider and their muzzles shorter. This provided the biological key to domestication syndrome. The secret lies in the neural crest cells. These are stem cells in the embryo that contribute to both the adrenal glands, which control the flight or fight response, and physical features like skin pigment, cartilage, and bone structure. As humans unwittingly selected for tameness, they were selecting for reduced adrenal activity. This reduction in neural crest cell migration resulted in the physical markers we recognize in dogs today. Ears that flop because the cartilage is less rigid, and coats with white patches, piebaldism, because the pigment-producing cells failed to reach the entire body. The genetic changes went even further into the dog's metabolism. One of the most significant adaptations in dogs compared to wolves is the ability to digest starch. As humans moved toward agriculture 10,000 years ago during the Neolithic Revolution, dogs evolved extra copies of the AMY2B gene. This gene codes for alpha amylase, an enzyme that breaks down starch into sugar. While wolves are strictly carnivorous, this genetic shift allowed dogs to thrive on a diet that included grains, tubers, and vegetables, the scraps of the first farmers. This was a crucial step in their global expansion, as it allowed them to follow humans into every corner of the planet, regardless of the local game supply. Furthermore, recent research has identified specific genetic markers in dogs that are associated with hypersociability. These markers are found in the same region of the genome as the genes responsible for Williams-Buren syndrome in humans, a condition characterized by exceptional friendliness and social interest. It seems that the very thing that makes dogs so loving is a genetic tweak that makes them biologically predisposed to seek out human company. Their coats began to exhibit a kaleidoscope of new colors, patches, and patterns that would never survive in the wild, but were favored by humans for their beauty or visibility. This was a process that demanded patience, thousands of years of side-by-side existence. It was a history of puppies raised alongside human children, of shared hunts through dense forests, and of quiet meals shared under the vast starlit canopy of the ancient world. As humanity moved from nomadic tribes to settled societies, our reverence for the dog only deepened. In every corner of the ancient world, dogs were elevated to the status of sacred companions, protectors of both the living and the dead. This was not merely utility, it was spiritual kinship. In the sun-drenched ruins of ancient Egypt, the dog was more than a pet. It was a divine link. Archaeologists have discovered dog mummies in the catacombs of Anubis at Saqqara, where millions were interred with care. The Egyptians saw dogs as earthly manifestations of Anubis, the jackal-headed deity who served as the psychopomp, the guide of souls. They believed that a dog would guide the ka, or soul, through the dangerous trials of the duat. One of the earliest named dogs in history is Abu Tiyu, a dog of a pharaoh who was buried with his own sarcophagus and fine linen, treated with the honors of a high-ranking official. The Egyptians also worshipped the greyhound-like Tessem, a breed so noble it was often depicted on the walls of tombs, chasing gazelles across the desert. In the city of Hardai, known to the Greeks as Sinopolis, or City of the Dog, residents held dogs in such high esteem that the animal was considered the most sacred of citizens. In ancient Greece, dogs were celebrated for their unyielding loyalty and their place in the heroic tradition. Homer's Odyssey gives us the story of Argos, who waited 20 years for his master's return and was the only one to recognize Odysseus through his disguise, dying only after he saw his master one last time. The philosopher Diogenes of Sinope lived with such simplicity that he was nicknamed the dog, arguing that dogs were superior to men because they were honest and lived in the moment. In Greek mythology, Sirius, the dog star, was the loyal companion of Orion the hunter, eventually placed in the heavens to shine forever. The Roman Empire expanded on this, classifying dogs by their function with the characteristic Roman precision. Cans villatici, guard dogs, canes pastoralis, shepherd dogs, and canes venatici, hunting dogs. The famous cave canem, beware of the dog, mosaics found in the entryways of Pompeian homes, remind us that dogs were as central to Roman domestic life as they are to ours today. Roman soldiers often took their canes pugnaces, war dogs into battle, where they were fitted with leather armor and spiked collars to break enemy formations. In Norse traditions, the hound Garma guarded the gates of hell, a fierce protector of the realm of the dead, while the Fenris wolf represented the wild, untamable side of the Canid spirit. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Sarama is the bitch of the gods, helping Indra recover stolen celestial cows, while the god Bhairava, a fierce manifestation of Shiva, is often depicted riding a dog. In Japan, the Akita was once reserved for the shoguns, and the story of Hachiko, though modern, echoes ancient sentiments of loyalty that defined the Japanese view of dogs for centuries. Across the Atlantic, the Aztecs and Maya held the Xoloitzcuintli in the highest regard. They believed these hairless dogs possessed the power to ward off evil spirits and heal the sick by absorbing their pain into their own warm bodies. In death, they were buried with their masters to navigate the 9 levels of Mictlan, the Aztec underworld. In the legends of the Inuit, dogs were essential partners in a landscape of white silence, seen as sentient beings with their own spiritual paths and names. From the hunting hounds of Mesopotamia to the war dogs of Rome, humanity recognized an essential truth. Dogs were more than simple animals. To understand the dog is to appreciate a biological machine refined for 40,000 years of companionship and specialized labor. Every system in their body is a testament to their evolutionary journey and their adaptation to the human world. The skeletal system of a dog is remarkably flexible and diverse. Unlike humans, dogs do not have a collarbone, clavicle, connected to the rest of their skeleton. Their shoulder blades are attached to the rest of their body only by muscles and ligaments. This allows for a much greater stride length and the ability to navigate tight spaces with ease. The variation in their skeletal structure is the most extreme of any mammal on Earth. Whether they are the long, low-slung dachshund, whose bones were shaped to crawl into badger dens, or the tall, aerodynamic greyhound, whose limbs are built for sprints reaching 45 miles per hour, their bones are a masterpiece of functional design. Their tails, composed of 6 to 23 highly mobile vertebrae, serve as rudders for balance and flags for communication. The skull of a dog is divided into 3 main types: brachycephalic, short-headed like a pug; mesocephalic, medium-headed like a retriever; and dolichocephalic, long-headed like a greyhound. Each shape serves a purpose, from the powerful bite force of a guardian to the expansive nasal cavity of a scent hound. Their teeth are specialized for a generalist diet. They have incisors for nipping, canines for tearing, and carnassial teeth for shearing bone and meat. However, their molars have flat surfaces that allow them to grind plant material, reflecting their 10,000-year history of eating human scraps. The brain of a dog is perhaps the most fascinating part of their anatomy, serving as the command center for their social genius. Proportionally, the canine brain is smaller than the human brain, but it is highly specialized for social processing and sensory integration. The olfactory bulb, responsible for processing smells, is massive compared to ours. The prefrontal cortex, which handles complex decision-making and impulse control, is well developed, but it is the reward centers that truly shine. In MRI studies, the caudate nucleus, the part of the brain associated with positive expectations, is most active when a dog smells the scent of its owner, more so than when it smells food or even other dogs. Their reproductive cycle is also unique among canids. Most female dogs experience estrus twice a year, a rhythm that has allowed them to reproduce successfully in a wide variety of environments, from the Arctic to the tropics. The gestation period is a mere 63 days, a short time that reflects their ancestors' need to remain mobile and hunt even while pregnant. This rapid development continues after birth, with puppies reaching sexual maturity in as little as 6 months in some small breeds. Every cell, every bone, and every neural pathway is tuned to a life of partnership with us. Their skin is sparsely populated with sweat glands, relying instead on a complex system of panting and peripheral vasodilation for thermoregulation. The ability of a dog to read the human soul is one of the most remarkable cognitive feats in the animal kingdom. They are, in a very real sense, masters of a human language that they never actually speak. When you smile, your dog doesn't just see a facial movement. They feel the positive shift in your energy. When you frown, they sense the invisible tension in your muscles. They have spent millennia studying us, becoming the ultimate observers of our behavior. Recent fMRI studies, led by researchers like Gregory Burns and Attila Andix, have allowed us to look inside the living brain of a dog while it interacts with humans. These studies have confirmed that dogs have a theory of mind, the ability to understand that another being has intentions, information, and a perspective to share. While even our closest relatives, the chimpanzees, struggle with the concept of cooperative pointing, understanding that a person is trying to show them something. Puppies as young as 6 weeks old can follow a human's point to find a hidden treat. They understand that we are trying to help them, and they look to our faces for information. Groundbreaking studies have demonstrated that dogs have a left gaze bias when looking at human faces. Humans tend to show more emotion on the right side of their faces, which is processed by the left side of the viewer's brain. Dogs have adapted to look at the right side of our faces first to get an accurate emotional read. They don't do this with other dogs. They only do it with us. This suggests that their brains have been physically and neurologically rewired to interface with ours. Furthermore, dogs process human language in a way that mirrors our own. They use the left hemisphere of their brain to process the meaning of words, and the right hemisphere to process the intonation or emotional tone. Only when both meaning and tone are positive does the reward center of their brain light up. When your dog tilts their head as you speak, they are not just hearing a series of sounds. They are actively trying to decode your intent, your needs, and the very essence of your emotional state. They see us, truly and deeply, in a way that no other creature on earth can. They are the only non-human species that consistently looks to humans for help when faced with an unsolvable problem, showing a level of social trust that is unique in nature. The profound connection we feel with dogs is written into the very chemistry of our brains. This is a story of a molecule called oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone, bonding hormone, or the cuddle chemical. Oxytocin is the primary driver of maternal bonding, social trust, and pair bonding in humans. It is what makes us feel safe, loved, and connected. In a landmark study, researchers found that when a dog and their owner engage in a long, soft gaze, both species experience a significant surge in oxytocin levels. In some cases, these levels rose by over 300% in the human and significantly in the dog. This is the exact same biological mechanism that facilitates the bond between a mother and her newborn infant. It is a positive feedback loop. The gaze triggers the hormone. The hormone increases the feeling of love and trust, which in turn leads to more gazing and interaction. The most incredible aspect of this scientific discovery is that the response is perfectly reciprocal and interspecies. This is not a one-way street where we project our feelings onto an animal. When your dog gazes back at you, or when they lean their heavy weight against your leg, their brain is also flooded with this chemical warmth. Science confirms that the bond between humans and dogs is not an emotional abstraction or an anthropomorphic projection. It is a fundamental biological reality. Our bodies recognize each other as family. This chemistry is what makes a dog's presence so soothing to the human nervous system. Interaction with a dog has been shown to reduce our heart rate, lower our cortisol, stress levels, and even boost our immune function. It is a biological bridge that spans the gap between two different species, allowing for a level of empathy and understanding that defies logical explanation. It is the chemical foundation of loyalty. When we say we love our dogs, we are speaking a truth that is verifiable in a laboratory. We are biologically entangled, a union of souls mediated by the most ancient and powerful chemical messengers in the vertebrate world. Part 7. Cardiovascular harmony, heart rate synchronization. Beyond the world of hormones and neurotransmitters, there is a hidden rhythmic harmony that occurs in the quiet moments we share with our dogs. When a dog rests peacefully beside their person, something extraordinary happens beneath the surface of the skin. Their heart rates begin to align. This is a phenomenon known as physiological synchronization. Scientists studying the canine-human bond have used heart rate monitors to track pairs in real time during moments of calm and interaction. They discovered that when we are close and relaxed, perhaps as you sit in your chair or lie in your bed, our cardiovascular rhythms fall into a shared harmony. It's as if two instruments, previously playing separate melodies, are being tuned to the same frequency. This synchronization is strongest when the dog is resting their body against ours, allowing for the transmission of heat and micro-vibrations. If your heart rate slows down during meditation, light reading, or deep sleep, your dog's pulse often naturally follows. Conversely, if sudden stress or excitement quickens your heart, your dog may rise in sympathy, their own heart rate accelerating to match yours before you have even made a conscious movement. They are physically tuned to your nervous system. This is why we feel a deep sense of calm when a dog rests their head in our lap. Our bodies literally slowing down together. This shared rhythm is a testament to 40,000 years of sleeping together around campfires, where our survival depended on being in sync with one another. In the wild, a pack must move and rest as one. In the home, this instinct has transferred to us. It is the quiet beating of two hearts finding a common pace in a chaotic world, a physical manifestation of the invisible bond that ties our souls together. It is the music of companionship, a rhythmic reminder that you are never truly alone. While we humans navigate our lives primarily through the medium of vision, a dog experiences a reality that is built almost entirely on scent. Their sense of smell is not just better than ours, it is a different dimension of experience. Their sense of smell is between 10,000 and 100,000 times more powerful than ours. To put that into perspective, if you could see as well as a dog can smell, you could see a single grain of sand on a beach that is 5 miles long. Or, as one scientist put it, if you were to add a single teaspoon of sugar to an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a dog could easily detect it. A dog's nose is a technological marvel of fluid dynamics and specialized anatomy. When a dog inhales, a fold of tissue inside their nostril divides the air into 2 separate paths, one for respiration and one specifically for olfaction. While we breathe in and out in a simple cycle that clears our scent receptors, dogs have slits on the sides of their noses that allow them to exhale air out while maintaining a continuous, turbulent stream of incoming scent particles. This creates a circulating airflow, allowing them to sniff almost continuously without ever interrupting their scent intake. Inside the nasal cavity, a dog has up to 300 million scent receptors, compared to our mere 6 million. Furthermore, the part of their brain dedicated to analyzing these smells is, proportionally, 40 times larger than ours. But the complexity goes even deeper. Dogs have a second nose, called the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ. Located in the roof of the mouth, this organ is designed specifically to detect pheromones, chemical signals that convey information about the mood, health, and reproductive status of other animals. Every breeze that brushes their face carries a complex story. They can smell the past, who was here, and the future, what is coming on the wind. When your dog sniffs seemingly endlessly at a single tree trunk, they are checking their messages and exploring a universe of invisible information. They can smell fear through the scent of adrenaline. They can smell joy through endorphins, and they can smell the passage of time through the dissipation of odors. To a dog, a walk is a lecture, a newspaper, and a history book all in one. Because their noses are tuned to the subtle chemistry of biology, dogs can detect things that remain hidden from our most advanced technology. In recent decades, we have begun to unlock one of the dog's most impressive and life-saving secrets: their ability to detect human illness through scent alone. It began with anecdotal stories. A dog repeatedly sniffing or licking a mole on their owner's leg, which later turned out to be a malignant melanoma. Today, this is a rigorous and burgeoning field of study. Dogs can smell the microscopic chemical changes associated with cancer, diabetes, and neurological episodes long before any physical symptoms become apparent to a doctor or a machine. They detect volatile organic compounds, microscopic chemical shifts in our breath, sweat, and blood that are the scent of disease. Diabetic alert dogs are trained to detect the scent of isoprene or other chemical markers on their owner's breath when blood sugar levels drop or spike dangerously. They will nudge, paw, or bark to warn their owner to take insulin or eat, often saving them from a life-threatening coma. Even more incredible are the seizure alert dogs. These animals can sense the subtle chemical and electrical shifts that occur in the human body, minutes or even hours before a seizure begins. Some dogs can even detect the onset of a migraine or a narcoleptic episode. In sophisticated medical facilities around the world, dogs are now being used to screen for diseases like Parkinson's, malaria, and even COVID-19. They can walk down a line of people and identify the one who is ill with a speed and accuracy that often rivals laboratory testing. Their noses are life-saving instruments, a testament to the idea that nature has provided us with a diagnostic tool far more sensitive than anything we have yet invented. They are the sentinels of our physical well-being, guardians who watch over our health with the same intensity they once used to watch over our herds. Part X. The acoustic landscape. High-frequency hearing dogs inhabit a symphony of sound that we as humans are entirely deaf to. While we hear the world in a relatively narrow band of frequencies, dogs experience a much wider and more detailed sonic landscape. A healthy human can detect sounds up to about 20,000 Hz. A dog, however, can hear frequencies up to 65,000 Hz, deep into the ultrasonic range. This means that for a dog, the world is never truly silent. They can hear the ultrasonic squeak of a mouse moving behind a kitchen wall, the high-pitched whine of electronic devices that we perceive as being silent, and even the rustle of insects in the grass. This sonic sensitivity is part of their ancestral heritage as hunters who needed to hear the movements of small prey. It is also why they are so attuned to the movements of the household, often waking up long before we do, because they hear the distant sounds of the neighborhood waking up or a neighbor's car starting blocks away. This incredible sensitivity is why a dog might suddenly bark at nothing. To them, a distant siren or a neighbor closing a car door 3 blocks away is as clear as a bell. Their ears are like sophisticated radar dishes. Controlled by more than 18 distinct muscles, each ear can move, rotate, and tilt independently. This allows them to scan their environment and pinpoint the exact source of a noise with staggering precision, within 4 degrees of the source. Humans, by contrast, struggle to locate sounds with such accuracy. This spatial awareness of sound is a legacy of their wolf ancestors who needed to locate prey in the total darkness of thick forests. They can hear the unique rhythm of your car's engine from blocks away, recognizing your return long before you pull into the driveway. They can hear the softest whisper across a crowded room. When your dog's ears perk up in the middle of a quiet night, trust that they are hearing something real. They are the guardians of the silent world, listening to the secrets of the night while we sleep. There is a long-standing myth that dogs see only in black and white. In reality, they perceive a world dominated by shades of blue and gold. While they lack the specific receptors, cones, to distinguish between reds and greens, making their vision similar to a human with red-green colorblindness, they have evolved other remarkable visual advantages that far exceed our own. Behind a dog's retina lies a specialized reflective layer known as the tapetum lucidum. This is essentially a biological mirror that reflects light back through the retina a second time, significantly increasing their ability to see in low-light conditions. This is the reason their eyes glow with an eerie green or yellow light in photographs, or when caught in a car's headlights. A dog needs only about 1/4 of the light that a human needs to navigate in the dark. They see the world in the half-light of dusk, where we see only shadows. Furthermore, dogs are much more attuned to the detection of motion. They have a higher flicker fusion frequency than we do. To us, a television screen looks like a continuous moving image. To a dog, older television screens may look like a series of rapidly flickering still photos. This high-speed visual processing allows them to spot a tiny movement at a great distance, up to half a mile away, even if the object itself is poorly defined. Their vision is perfectly tuned for the twilight hours of dawn and dusk, the prime hunting times for their ancestors. While we see the world in a rich spectrum of color, dogs see a world tuned for action and motion. Their eyes are positioned more on the sides of their heads than ours, giving them a wider peripheral view, up to 250 degrees compared to our 180. This allows them to monitor the horizon for threats or prey while still focusing on what is in front of them. They are the masters of the half-light, seeing the world's movements with a clarity we can only imagine. A dog's tail is one of the most sophisticated communication tools in the animal kingdom. Contrary to popular belief, a wagging tail is not a simple on-off switch for happiness. It is a complex flag that signals a wide range of internal states, intentions, and social hierarchies. To misread the tail is to misread the dog's soul. To understand the grammar of the tail, we must look at height, speed, and lateralization. The high wag, a tail held high and stiff, vibrating rapidly, is a sign of high arousal and confidence. In certain contexts, this can be a warning. The dog is alert and potentially ready to react. It is a sign of dominance or intense interest. The middle wag, a tail held at spine level, making broad, sweeping motions, is the classic sign of joy and relaxation. This is the happy dog wag we all recognize. The low wag, a tail held low or tucked between the legs, is a universal sign of fear, anxiety, or submission. The dog is trying to make themselves look smaller and less threatening, often spreading their scent glands less prominently. Recent scientific breakthroughs have even shown that the direction of the wag matters. When a dog wags more to their right side, it indicates positive emotions, controlled by the left hemisphere of the brain. When the wag favors the left, it indicates negative feelings or stress. Other dogs can read these subtle directional shifts, becoming visibly more stressed when they see a silhouette of a dog wagging to the left. The speed of the wag also carries meaning. A fast wag indicates excitement, while a slow wag may indicate uncertainty or a search for more social information. To truly understand a dog, one must learn to read the tail as if it were a complex, living semaphore, a window into the very soul of the animal. It is a language of motion that predates human speech. For many years, it was assumed that dogs had very few facial expressions compared to primates. However, when researchers began to look closer, a rich vocabulary of signals emerged. Dogs use their eyes, their ears, their mouths, and even their whiskers to communicate their feelings to us with startling accuracy. One of the most profound evolutionary changes in dogs is the levator anguli oculi medialis muscle, which allows dogs to raise their inner eyebrow. This muscle is almost entirely absent in wolves. It is an evolutionary adaptation that developed specifically because humans respond so strongly to it. Raising the eyebrow makes the eyes appear larger and more infant-like, triggering a powerful nurturing response in the human brain. We call it puppy dog eyes, but it is actually a biological bridge between two species. It is a tool for deep connection and, occasionally, effective manipulation. Dogs also use their mouths to communicate. A submissive grin, where the dog pulls their lips back to show their front teeth in a non-aggressive way, is often a way of saying, "I am friendly, and I mean no harm." They can wail eye, showing the whites of their eyes when they are feeling pressured or anxious. They can even smile with an open, relaxed mouth and lolling tongue. Their ears are among the most expressive parts of their face, forward for interest, back for fear or submission, and rotating for monitoring. Some researchers estimate that dogs may have more distinct facial signals than wolves, specifically developed over 40,000 years to communicate with us. When your dog looks at you with that soulful, intent gaze, they are using a language that we both worked for millennia to create. It is a connection made visible, an ancient conversation continuing in the silence of your home. They are the only animals that look to humans for social cues in the same way human infants do. Beyond the obvious signals, dogs have a subtle social intelligence that maintains the harmony of the pack. They are masters of conflict resolution and social lubrication. One of the most important signals is the play bow. By dropping their front legs and keeping their rear end high, a dog is using a meta-communicative signal. It means everything I am about to do next, the growling, the chasing, the wrestling, is just a game. I am not a threat. This allows dogs to engage in mock combat, building strength and skill without it escalating into real violence. Then there is the contagious yawn. Like humans, dogs will often yawn when they see their owner yawn. However, studies show they are more likely to catch a yawn from someone they love than from a stranger. This is thought to be a primitive form of empathy, a biological mirroring that aligns the emotional and physiological states of the group. It is a sign of deep social and emotional synchronization. In a tense social situation, a dog might yawn, lick their lips, or turn their head away. These are calming signals. They are used to diffuse tension and signal to others that they want peace. A dog that turns their back on you when you are scolding them isn't being rude. They are actually trying to calm you down using their ancestral social code. They are attempting to lower the temperature of the interaction. They also use silence and stillness as a form of communication. A dog that stops moving and becomes perfectly still is giving one of the most important warnings in the canine world. It is the breath before the storm. Understanding these subtle shifts, the silence, the yawn, the tilt of the head, allows us to enter their world with the respect and understanding they deserve. They are constantly negotiating their place in our world with a sophistication we are only just beginning to appreciate. A puppy's journey into the world is a miracle of rapid biological development and extreme vulnerability. Unlike a foal or a calf that can stand and run within hours of birth, puppies are altricial. They enter the world in a state of total helplessness. Their eyes are sealed shut, their ear canals are closed, and they are incapable of regulating their own body temperature. They are entirely dependent on the warmth and care of their mother. For the first 2 weeks of life, a puppy's world is defined entirely by touch and smell. They navigate their surroundings through a series of rooting reflexes, nuzzled toward the warmth of their mother's belly for the life-sustaining milk. This period of helplessness is an evolutionary trade-off, because dogs have a relatively short gestation period, about 63 days. Their young are born early to keep the mother mobile and capable of moving with the pack during the late stages of pregnancy. This early period is a time of staggering neurological growth. The brain is forming millions of connections every hour, literally building the hardware for the future dog. Around the 10 to 14 day mark, the windows to the world begin to open. Eyes open, initially cloudy and blue, and ear canals unseal. This is a sensory explosion. This begins the critical socialization period, which lasts until about 12 to 16 weeks. During this window, the puppy's brain is like a sponge, extraordinarily receptive to new experiences. Positive exposure to different people, sounds, and environments during this time will decide whether the puppy grows into a confident adult or an anxious one. They learn bite inhibition from their littermates, learning through yelps and pauses that if they bite too hard, the game stops. These early lessons in empathy and self-control are the foundation of a dog's entire personality. They are learning the social grammar of their species and ours. For a long time, it was believed that dogs only understood the tone of our voices, not their actual words. We now know that this is entirely false. Dogs possess a linguistic capacity that rivals that of a young human child. Most dogs can learn the names of dozens of specific objects and actions, with some exceptional individuals reaching far beyond. The most famous example is Chaser, a border collie who learned the names of over 1,000 distinct toys. She could fetch a specific toy from a pile based solely on its name, and she even understood exclusionary reasoning. If her owner asked for a toy with a name she didn't know, she would look at the pile, see one toy she didn't recognize, and deduce that the new word must belong to the new object. This is a level of deductive reasoning previously thought to be exclusive to humans and higher primates. But intelligence in dogs is not just about words. It is about social eavesdropping. Dogs watch how we interact with other people and other animals, and they use that information to decide who to trust. They are astute judges of character and intent. They can solve complex spatial puzzles, remember the location of hidden items for long periods, and even imitate human actions on command. Their memory is both associative and episodic. They remember specific events and the emotions associated with them. Whether it is a border collie herding sheep with surgical precision, or a stubborn bulldog finding a creative way to reach a treat on a high counter, canine intelligence is a brilliant and diverse spectrum. They aren't just good boys. They are deep thinkers, constantly analyzing their environment and our behavior. They are perhaps the only species that has made a career out of understanding humans better than we understand ourselves. In the modern world, the roles of dogs have expanded into nearly every field of human endeavor, moving far beyond the simple hunting partner of our ancestors. Service dogs are the unsung heroes of our society, transforming lives with every task and every quiet alert. Guide dogs provide independence to the blind, acting as a second set of eyes and ears in a chaotic and often inaccessible world. They are trained in intelligent disobedience, knowing when to ignore a command that would put their owner in danger. Hearing dogs alert the deaf or hard of hearing to sounds like doorbells, smoke alarms, or a crying baby, providing a vital link to the acoustic world. Psychiatric service dogs help those with PTSD, severe anxiety, or autism by providing grounding touch during panic attacks, creating a physical buffer in crowds, and performing safety checks in rooms. Mobility assistance. Dogs open doors, retrieve dropped items, press elevator buttons, and even pull wheelchairs, transforming the daily lives of their partners. Then there are the working professionals of the field. Military working dogs, WDs, and police K9s are trained in tracking, apprehension, and detection. They serve with a courage that is truly humbling, often putting themselves in harm's way to protect their human partners. After the World Trade Center attacks in 2001, hundreds of search and rescue dogs worked tirelessly in the rubble, providing closure and hope to thousands. Conservation dogs are now being used to track endangered species by their scent, while arson dogs help fire investigators find accelerants in the ruins of a blaze. There are dogs that detect bedbugs, dogs that find truffles, and dogs that detect a single peanut in a room to protect a child with severe allergies. They find purpose and joy in their work. They are the ultimate partners, proving that their skills are as relevant today as they were 40,000 years ago. The sheer diversity of the dog is one of the most visible wonders of our partnership. From the towering Irish wolfhound to the tiny Chihuahua, we have shaped the wolf into 1,000 different forms to suit our needs, our environments, and our hearts. The development of modern breeds reached its peak in the Victorian era, where kennel clubs were established and breed standards became formal laws of canine appearance. The sighthounds, greyhounds, Salukis, and Whippets, built for incredible speed and keen vision. They are the athletes of the canine world, designed to chase prey across open plains. Their hearts are proportionally larger than other dogs, their bodies aerodynamic. The scent hounds, beagles, bloodhounds, and bassets, possessing the most sophisticated noses on the planet. They are the detectives, following a trail through thick brush and over miles of terrain with tireless endurance. The terriers, fearless and tenacious, bred to go to ground to hunt vermin. Their spirits are far larger than their bodies, characterized by a never-say-die attitude. The herders, border collies, German shepherds, and corgis, possessing an uncanny ability to control the movement of other animals. They are the intellectuals and workaholics. The working breeds, Great Danes, Mastiffs, and St. Bernards, built for strength, protection, and rescue. They are the gentle giants, protectors of hearth and home. The companions, poodles, bichons, and Malteses, bred specifically for their social intelligence, their lack of shedding, and their ability to bond with us in the home. Every breed carries the history of the people who created them. To look at a breed is to look at a specific time and place in human history. They are our living heritage, a diverse family that reflects our own varied journeys across the globe. Living with a dog isn't just an emotional choice, it's a biological and medical one. Scientific research has consistently shown that dog owners tend to live longer, healthier lives than those without canine companions. The presence of a dog encourages physical activity. Those daily walks reduce the risk of heart disease, obesity, stroke, and diabetes. But the benefits go much deeper than just exercise. Studies have shown that simply petting a dog for 5 minutes significantly lowers levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases the release of serotonin and dopamine, the brain's natural feel-good chemicals. For people living with chronic pain, depression, or terminal illness, a dog's non-judgmental companionship is a powerful and essential medicine. For children, Growing up with a dog fosters empathy, responsibility, and emotional regulation. It even strengthens the immune system. Children who grow up with pets are significantly less likely to develop allergies and asthma later in life, as early exposure to pet dander trains the immune system. In nursing homes and hospitals, therapy dogs provide a bridge to the outside world, bringing smiles and memories to those who have forgotten how to laugh. They remind us that the most effective healing doesn't always come from a bottle. Sometimes it comes with a wagging tail, a cold nose, and an unshakable belief in your worth. Dogs have left an indelible mark on our creative expression and our cultural identity. From the earliest cave paintings in Saudi Arabia, depicting dogs on leashes 8,000 years ago, to the digital age, they are a constant and beloved theme in our art. In the Renaissance, dogs appeared in portraits as symbols of marital fidelity and social status. In the 19th century, Landseer's paintings of Newfoundlands as lifesavers captured the public imagination and defined the heroic dog trope. In literature, we have the heart-wrenching stories of Old Yeller, Lassie and Buck from The Call of the Wild. These stories reflect our own struggles with nature, loyalty and loss. In the 20th century, dogs became cinematic icons. Rin Tin Tin was credited with saving Warner Brothers from bankruptcy, while Hachiko's story became a national symbol of devotion in Japan. In 1925, Balto and Togo became heroes of the Great Race of Mercy, delivering life-saving antitoxin to Nome, Alaska. Today, internet culture has created a new language for dogs, Dogolingo, reflecting our ongoing fascination. They are not just animals, they are cultural touchstones that help us understand our own humanity. Understanding why dogs do what they do requires a look into their complex psychology and their ancestral instincts. One of the most common behaviors owners observe is the guilty look after a dog has done something wrong. However, studies show this is not actually guilt, but a calming signal in response to human anger. The dog is trying to appease you, not confessing to a crime. Separation anxiety is another major behavioral hurdle in the modern world. Because dogs are hypersocial pack animals, being left alone can trigger a genuine panic attack. Their destructive behavior in these moments isn't revenge. It's a desperate attempt to escape or self-soothe. Resource guarding, protecting food or toys, is an ancestral survival instinct that sometimes persists in the home, requiring careful, positive reinforcement training to manage. Modern training philosophies have shifted from dominance-based methods to force-free or positive reinforcement techniques. This change reflects our growing understanding that dogs learn best through trust and reward rather than fear and intimidation. By understanding their psychology, their need for routine, their social drives, and their unique way of processing the world, we can build a more harmonious and respectful life together. As we look toward the future, our relationship with dogs faces new ethical questions and challenges. The rise of puppy mills and the breeding of extreme traits, like the flattened faces of pugs and bulldogs that make breathing difficult, has led to a movement for more ethical and health-focused breeding. We have a responsibility to the health of the species we created. The world of shelters and rescue is another vital part of the story. Millions of dogs wait for homes every year, reminding us of the responsibility we carry as their creators. Furthermore, the future of the bond may include genetic editing or even cloning, raising deep questions about what it means to design a companion. Despite these challenges, the core of the bond remains the same. The future of dogs will likely involve even closer integration into our lives, as we discover new ways they can help us, from detecting new diseases to providing emotional support in an increasingly digital and isolated world. We must ensure that as they continue to evolve for us, we continue to care for them with the same loyalty they show us. They are a gift from the past that we must protect for the future. As our dogs enter their senior years, our relationship with them enters a new and beautiful phase. A senior dog, with their silver muzzle, slower pace, and perhaps cloudy eyes, carries a lifetime of memories and loyalty in every step. They have seen us at our best and our worst, and they have loved us through it all. Caring for an aging dog is a privilege, a way to return the decades of unconditional love they have given us. They may develop lenticular sclerosis, the blue haze in their eyes, or struggle with arthritis, but their devotion remains unchanged. They move beyond the exuberance of youth into a state of deep, quiet contentment. They are the elders of our families, possessing a quiet dignity. They teach us the most difficult and beautiful lesson of all: how to live in the present moment. A senior dog doesn't worry about the future or regret the past. They are perfectly happy with a warm bed, a gentle scratch behind the ears, and the presence of their person. Every grey hair on their face is a badge of honor, a testament to a life well lived in our company. To love a senior dog is to understand the true meaning of grace and the beauty of a long-term commitment. One of the most difficult and painful parts of loving a dog is the heartbreaking brevity of their lives. Because we often outlive our companions, we must eventually face the profound and overwhelming grief of their loss. To grieve a dog is to acknowledge that they were a true family member, a constant witness to your life, and a source of light in your darkest hours. In the community of dog lovers, the Rainbow Bridge provides a gentle image of comfort, a place where dogs are whole and healthy again, free from the pains of age and illness, waiting in a sun-drenched meadow for the day they can run to meet their person once more. Whether or not one believes in a literal afterlife, the sentiment is emotionally true. Love does not end when a heart stops beating. The grief we feel is a testament to the depth of the bond. It is the price we pay for the years of joy, laughter, and comfort they gave us. As you think of the dogs you have loved and lost, remember that they left paw prints on your heart that will never fade. They changed you, they made you more human, and in doing so, they live on through every act of kindness you perform. Their legacy is the love they left behind, a light that continues to shine in the quiet corners of your heart. As we reach the end of our expansive journey tonight, take a moment to reflect on the sheer magnitude of the bond we share. Dogs are more than just animals. They are the keepers of our ancient history, the healers of our modern hearts, and the guardians of our future homes. They are the bridge between the wild and the domestic, between the predator and the friend. They love us not for what we achieve, not for our status or our wealth, but simply because we are theirs. In the quiet of the night, listen for the soft, rhythmic sigh of a dog. It is the sound of absolute safety and trust. It is the sound of 40,000 years of history settling down to rest. As you drift towards sleep, carry with you the knowledge that you are part of an ancient, beautiful, and eternal alliance. You are not alone. The story of the dog continues in every wag, every bark, and every quiet moment of connection in homes across the world. May the warmth of their spirits and the loyalty of their hearts guide you into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. Good night and sleep well.